In this video, I'll be explaining to you the insertion sort algorithm. We'll see what is insertion sort, how it works, and we'll also learn the algorithm with the help of an example. With that said, hey guys, I'm Amir Salam, and on this particular channel, I upload content related to coding, technology, and self-development. If that is something within your interest, then consider subscribing to my channel. Now, without wasting any more time, let's jump right into the video. First of all, what is selection sort algorithm? Well, straightforward, it is a comparison-based sorting algorithm. What happens in insertion sort is the ith element, right, of an array is compared with all of its prior elements. For example, if we have an array of size maybe 7 and we are at the index number 3, we'll be comparing all the elements which appeared before 3 or else which are to the left hand side of 3. To explain this to you, I have a very simple array example. Here what I've done is I've taken an array of size 4 and the elements are 3, 7, 0 and 1, and we have followed 0 based indexing. Now first of all, we'll start the comparison of the elements from the second element of an array, that is index I is equals to 1. Why exactly? Well, this is because if we start from the first element of the array where index is 0, there'll be no other element prior to this particular element to be compared with. Hence, we'll be starting from the second element of the array. So we'll compare the second element of the array with all of the array elements which are existing or which are appearing before to it. Okay, so the element which is appearing before 7 is 3. If we have to arrange the array in ascending order, then the order of 3 and 7 is correct. So we won't be swapping it in this particular iteration. Now we'll go on to the next iteration. Here we will be comparing the element at index number 2 with elements at index number 1 and 0. First of all, we'll check if 0 is less than 7. Yes, it is less than 7. Then we'll also check if 0 is less than 3. Yes, it is also less than 3. Now what happens here is we will be swapping the position of 0 and 3. Okay, so as you can see in the next iteration where I value is now 3, as you can see the position of 0 and 3 have been exchanged. Now what happens is I value has been incremented to 3. So this is we'll be comparing the element at index number 3, that is 1, with all the rest of the array. That means we'll first see is 1 less than 3. Yes, it is less than 3. Then we'll also check is 1 less than 7. Yes, it is less than 7. Then we'll also check is 1 is less than 0. No, it is not less than 0. 1 is less than 3, less than 7, but greater than 0. So what we'll be doing is we'll be swapping the element 1 and 7. So by the end, okay, by the end of the entire algorithm, we'll have a proper sorted array, that is in ascending order. So this is basically how insertion sort algorithm works. So the example which I've used here, right, this is a very basic example, a very simple example. And based on this, I'll be explaining the algorithm, the insertion sort algorithm to you. Now let us get into the actual part, that is the algorithm itself. Now there are primarily 5 steps. Okay, first is we'll start with the first element, or else we can also take the second element of the array where I is equals to 1, index is 1, and I've explained this to you before itself, because if you start from the first element of the array where the index is 0, you won't have any prior elements to be compared with. Hence we'll be starting the comparison from the second element of the array. So is the first step clear? Next, second is compare the ith element with all of its previously occurring element. As we have done, we'll be comparing the ith element with all of the elements which have occurred to previously to the ith position or the ith element. That means if you are comparing 0, okay, if you are at index number 1 here exactly, then we have to compare 0 with 7 and 3. So this is how it works. Now in third is we have to find the correct position to place the ith element, okay, so that we'll obtain a sorted array, either ascending or descending. In fourth step is what we'll do is we'll insert the element into its correct position, or else we'll perform this swapping procedure, that is we'll be swapping the element in order to put it into its right position. Then fifth is we'll keep on repeating this process until we obtain a fully sorted or fully properly ordered array or list of elements. So this is basically what is insertion sort algorithm. Now let us get a very good understanding, very clear understanding of insertion sort algorithm with the help of code. Now first of all, in order to traverse an array, okay, we have to use a for statement, right? So I'll be writing a for statement for I is equals to 1. Now why exactly 1? As I've mentioned, we have to start from the second element of the array. We have to start the comparison from the second element of the array. Until I is less than n, we have to keep on iterating I after successful completion or execution of for statement. Next, what we have to do is we have to take a temporary variable where we'll be storing the value which is in the array of position I. Okay, so I'll be taking a variable temp is equals to a of I. Now suppose let me take a simple example again, 3 0 1 and 2. Okay, so this is an example array. I'll also write the index numbers, that is 0 1 2 and 3. Now if I'm starting from the first position, I have to compare it from the previous position. That means if I'm starting from 1, then I have to start comparison from which 0, or if I'm starting from 3, I have to start comparison from 2. If I'm starting from 7, I have to start comparison from 6. So what does this means is I have to decrease the value of the variable which I'll be using in the inner for loop, right? For comparison, that means I have to decrease the value of j by 1, that is I minus 1, so that I'll start comparison from the the left hand side. Now we need a while loop. While j is greater than or equal to 0 and a of j is greater than temp. Now why is this required is we'll be comparing the elements until we reach the 0th position. Okay, we can't go beyond 0, right? Minus 1. That's the reason I have used j is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, and if a of j or any particular element is greater than the value which is in temporary variable, we have to continue with the swapping procedure. We won't be swapping it here. It's a little bit tricky, just a little bit tricky compared to bubble sort and selection sort. So watch this particular procedure carefully. Now what I'll be doing here is I'll be taking array of j plus 1 is equals to array of j, and then I'll be decreasing the value of j by j minus 1. Okay, now once I'm done with this, I have to again come up here and I have to change j plus 1 is equals to temp. Now what I have explained it until here. Now what is happening here is if I find out that an element exists which is greater than the temporary variable value, then I have to make sure that the array of j plus 1, the element at j plus 1th position, will get the previous previous array of j, the value which is at array of jth position. Then we have to again decrease the value of j by 1, so that we'll keep on moving to the LHS until we reach the number 0 or index number 0. Then once we're out of this entire loop, we have to make sure that we'll be putting the value which is in temporary variable into the position of j plus 1. Now this might sound a little bit confusing to you. Let us trace this particular algorithm using a simple example I've given here. So let us see how this continues. Now first is I is equals to 1. Let us take a variable I is equals to 1. Okay, next temp of a of I. Now temporary variable will be storing the value which is in a of I. What is in a of I? That is 0. Okay, next j is equals to I minus 1. I is already 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. Now is j greater than or equal to 0? True. Next what we'll do is a of j. Now what is a of j? J value is 0. A of j is 3. Is 3 greater than temp? Temp value is 0. Is 3 greater than 0? It is true. We'll be entering into this particular code block. Now what will happen here is a of j plus 1. Now what is a of j plus 1? J is 0, 0 plus 1 is 1, that is a of 1 is this particular element. A of j plus 1, we have to change the value in a of j plus 1 with the value which is in a of j. That is, we have to exchange the values in 0th and 1th position. That means I'll be entering value 3 over here, and then again I'll be decreasing the value of j by 1. That is, it's already 0, minus 1 is minus 1, and I'll again get back to this particular loop. I'll check, is j greater than or equal to 0? False. If one statement is false in AND statement, will be exiting out of this particular loop. Now what will happen is a of j plus 1. Now what is a of j? A of j is already minus 1. Minus 1 plus 1 is 0. A of 0 is equals to temp. What is in the value temp? 0. So we'll be inserting value 0 here. So this is the array which we obtain. Now next, after this, I value will be incremented to 2. Next, temporary variable will be storing the value which is in a of 2. A of 2 has value 1. Temporary variable will have 1. Next, j is I minus 1. I is already 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. Now we'll check, is j greater than or equal to 0? Yes, it is true. Is a of j? Now what is a of j? J is 1, right? A of j is, a of 1 is 3. A of j is 3, greater than, what is in the temporary variable? 1. Is 3 greater than 1? Yes, it is true. Hence we'll be entering into this particular code block. We'll check if a of j, that is 1, if a of 1 plus 1, a of 2 is will be changing the values. A of 2 is equals to a of j. Now what is in a of 2? 1. We have to change 1 with the value which is in a of j. That means we have to change 1 with the value which is in a of j, that is 3. Next, we'll again decrease the value of j by 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. We'll get back to while condition. Is j greater than or equal to 0? True. And a of j, that is a of j is 0. Is 0 greater than temp? False. Will be exiting out of this particular code block. Now what will happen is a of j, which is 0, plus 1 is equals to temp. A of 1 should get the value which is in temporary variable, that is 1. So what will happen here? We'll insert 1, 0, 2. This is the array we'll be getting. Now after getting back to the for statement, the I value will be incremented to 3. Is 3 lesser than 4? Yes, it is. We'll be entering into this block. We'll again change temporary variable, will have the value which is in a of 3. Now what is in a of 3? Temporary variable will have value 2. Next, j is equals to 3 minus 1. Now j is 2. We'll again check, is j greater than or equal to 0? 2 is greater than or equal to 0. True. Next, a of j. A of j is 2, right? Now a of j is 2. The value which is in a of a of j value is 2. A of j is 3. Is 3 greater than temporary variable? Is 3 greater than 2? Yes, it is true. So we'll be entering into this particular code block. Now what will happen is a of j plus 1. What is the value of j? 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. A of 3 is equals to a of j. Now we have to change this particular variable. We have to change the value at this particular position. Now a of j plus 1 is equals to a of j. J is 2. What will happen is the value at a of 2, that is 3, must be replaced with the value which is in a of 3. So what will happen is 3 will be inserted here. Then we'll be decreasing the value of j, that is 2 minus 1 is 1, and we'll get back to the condition of while loop. We'll check if j is greater than or equal to 0. It is true. And we'll check if a of j, that is 1, a of 1, which is 1, greater than temp. No, it is false. Hence we'll be exiting out of the while loop and will be going to this particular statement. A of j value is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. A of 2 should be given the value which is in temporary variable. That means this particular position will be getting the value which is in the temporary variable, that is 2. So hence, ladies and gentlemen, we have obtained a sorted array that is 0, 1, 2 and 3. So this is how, my dear friends, insertion sort algorithm works. I hope I have explained it to you, and I hope you have learned what is insertion sort algorithm. If you found this video helpful, then consider hitting the like button, and if you think this channel is worth subscribing, then also consider hitting the subscribe button. That's all for this particular video. See you in another one. Till then, bye bye.